2. Read. A. Look at the picture and the subject of Jason Partridge's blog. Why do you think his holiday went wrong? Listen, read and check your answers. Okay, here is the picture. Here is the title, the subject. The subject is a nightmare, mini holiday. Nightmare, you know, when you see a very bad dream, that is a nightmare. Mini holiday, very short holiday. What do you think happened? Something went wrong in Jason Partridge's holiday. What do you think happened? Well, by looking at the picture, I think that he lost his suitcase. This is my guess. Let's read and find out more. I will play the recording. Listen and follow.
A Nightmare Mini Holiday by Jason Partridge. Date 14th of August. Location home. Well, I thought this would be the best holiday, but unfortunately, I've just come back from the shortest cruise ever. From the moment we arrived at the port, we knew it wasn't going to be our dream holiday. The first thing I noticed was that most of the people boarding the ship weren't my age. Secondly, the ship looked a lot less luxurious than it did in the brochure. But the real shock came when we were shown to our cabin. It was tiny, the beds were uncomfortable, and it had no windows. So, my dad went to reception to try to get us a better one. But unfortunately, all the cabins were full, so it was impossible for them to do anything. Then things got worse. It was time for the ship to sail when there was an announcement about a 2-hour delay. Of course, there were many dissatisfied passengers. The crew asked us all to be patient, stay on board and enjoy our lunch. But the service was terrible. They were so disorganized, it took us an hour to get our lunch, and it was completely tasteless. After that, we went back to the cabin. My brother wanted to have a shower, but there was no water. So he called reception to find out what the problem was. It seems that they were having trouble with the water supply. We finally left port, but things didn't improve. We hardly got any sleep that night, and the next day, when the ship made its first stop, we got off along with most of the other passengers, and we never went back. As I'm writing this, my dad is writing a letter of complaint to the travel agency, asking for our money back.
Subject: A Nightmare Mini Holiday by Jason Partridge. Date 14th of August. Location home. Well, I thought this would be the best holiday ever. But the bad news, unfortunately, we were unlucky. I have just come back from the shortest cruise ever in my life. Cruise is when you go on a ship, just like the one in the picture, and you go from one place to another. From the moment we arrived at the port, a port is a place where ships, boats, stop when they arrive to land. We knew it wasn't going to be our dream holiday. The first thing I noticed, the first thing that I came aware of, was that most of the people boarding the ship, getting on the ship, weren't my age. They were older or younger, not my age. Secondly, the ship looked a lot less luxurious than it did in the brochure. Luxurious means elegant. It wasn't very nice, very elegant. By the way, the American pronunciation is luxurious, the way I am reading it, but British people say luxurious. Okay? But personally, I go for the American pronunciation. You go with any pronunciation you like. Brochure is like a small book that shows you information and description of services you're gonna get or a product that you're gonna buy. But the real shock, the real surprise came when we were shown to our cabin. A cabin like a small room inside a ship or a boat. It was tiny, very small. The beds were uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. When you sleep in these beds, you feel that your back hurts. And it had no windows. So my dad went to reception. Reception is the front desk where you can, talk to someone to help you when you need assistance, to try to get us a better one. But unfortunately, all the cabins were full. So it was impossible. It can't be done for them to do anything. They can't give us a different cabin, a different room, because all the other rooms were full of people. Then things got worse. It was time for the ship to sail, to move in the sea. When there was an announcement when you say something for everybody to hear, about a 2-hour delay, they made an announcement telling people that the ship will not set sail now, not on time. No, after 2 hours. Delay means not on the time you're supposed to do something, a little bit later. Of course, there were many dissatisfied passengers. Dissatisfied, unhappy passengers, people on the ship who are not working on the ship. They are just traveling, are called passengers. Crew is the opposite of that. People work on the ship or work on a plane. We call them crew. The crew asked us all to be patient. Patient? Wait calmly, please. Relax. Stay on board, stay on the ship, and enjoy our lunch. But the service was terrible. Service is a system of doing your work. So their system of working was very bad. They were so disorganized, not arranged. They were working randomly. It took us an hour to get our lunch and it was completely tasteless. It didn't have a taste. Very bad. After that, we went back to the cabin. My brother wanted to have a shower, but there was no water. So he called reception to find out what the problem was. Why didn't we have water? It seems that they were having trouble with water supply, water sources. They had no water on the boat or the ship. We finally left port, but things didn't improve. Things didn't get better. We hardly got any sleep that night, and the next day, when the ship made its first stop, we got off along with most of the other passengers. We and other passengers got out of that horrible ship, and we never went back. As I am writing this, while I am writing this, my dad is writing a letter of complaint. A letter of complaint is when you write that you are unhappy about something and you send it to people who can actually deal with your problem. And he sent that letter to the travel agency. Travel agency is an organization that arranges holidays for travelers, asking for our money back. We want our money back. We don't like this service. B. Read again and answer the questions. 1. When did Jason and his family first realize they became aware of that their holiday was going to turn out badly? Well, they knew this from the beginning, from the moment they came to the port. Okay? From the moment we arrived at the port. 2. What happened when they saw their cabin? They were unhappy because the cabin was very small, tiny. It was tiny, very small. Jason's dad wanted to get a better one. Why? Because it was small and the beds were not comfortable. So he went to the reception to ask for another one. 3. Why didn't Jason and his family enjoy their lunch? It was tasteless. It was tasteless. It had no taste. Like you are eating air. If you eat air, does air have a taste? No. Air and water, even water, when you drink water, do you taste anything? No. The same thing. This food was tasteless. 4. Why did they call reception? Well, Jason's brother wanted to take a shower, but there was no water, so he called reception. No water, so he called reception. 5. How did they end their cruise? The next day, when the ship made its first stop, Jason's family and other passengers got off. The next day, when the ship made its first stop, we got off, along with most of the other passengers. Most of the people who were on the ship, they got off. And they never went back. Word bank. Repeat after me. Mini, cruise, port, noticed, boarding, luxurious, brochure, shock, cabin, tiny, uncomfortable, reception, impossible, sail, announcement, delay, dissatisfied, passengers, crew, patient, on board, service, disorganized, tasteless, supply, complaint, travel agency. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please share it with friends. Goodbye.